Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get our show started for today. And I'd like to start by introducing our elected officials who are joining us in our audience today. We have City Council members Carolyn Jackson, James Pierce, Julie Risser, thank you, Hennepin County Commissioner Heather Edelson, Heather. And I extend greetings to you from State Representative Julie Green, who is not able to join us here. When you're on a legislator's schedule, you just never know when you're going to have to work. So she's busy over in St. Paul, but she extends her greetings to us today. I would also like to take a moment to thank the Lancer catering staff who served us lunch and the city and school communications folks that put this together. So thank you, everybody. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Jim Hovland. Mayor Hovland had joined the City Council, Edina City Council in 1997, and he served in that role until he was elected mayor in 2005. Today, he is Edina's longest serving mayor. He serves, In addition to being mayor, he serves as the chair of the Municipal Legislative Commission, chair of the Transportation Advisory Board to the Metropolitan Council, and chair of the U.S. Conference of Mayors Transportation Committee. He is also a member of the leadership team for the United States Conference of Mayors, the Southwest LRT Corridor Management Committee, and the Greater MSP Partner Advisory Council. Mayor Hovland has served on the Edina Community Foundation's Board of Directors for more than 2 decades and is an active member of the Regional Council of Mayors and the Rotary Club of Edina. Please help me welcome His Honor, Mayor Jim Hovland.
You know, this is a good chance to also recognize, as you all know, that our city manager is departing the city of Edina after 16 years. Yeah, and so this is our chance to give him a collective way to go. A big round of appreciation for all the great work you've done here. I think they're still mad in Eden Prairie about you coming over here, you know, but they've kind of gotten over it. And how about Paul Peterson? It's just unbelievable, that guy. That Grooves and Foods idea that he and Mick, I think Mick was involved up in Maple Grove, and brought the idea to Paul. Paul brought it to us. It is an incredible community builder. I think many of you that went this last summer, probably multiple times, saw what a great thing it was for our community and beyond. All kinds of people gathering at Centennial Lakes. I expect this year to be even bigger and better. And so thanks, Paul, for all you're doing on that, and really appreciate it, all that community effort. And if you get there the right night, maybe Bill McCreevy will be playing the drums. I'm not sure about that. And he asked me if I could do backup vocals. I think James Pierce could, but I don't. I'd be shaky. I know I've heard James sing, and I think it's pretty good, you know. And if I could stand next to him, that would be helpful. So on this theme of harmony in Edina, it's something that we work on every day to be a community that's in stronger harmony. A community where safety, trust, growth, and opportunity move forward together. And that notion of finding the right balance, building trust, and holding and enhancing together what matters most is really what this moment in our lives is really all about. I think it's worthwhile understanding that in discussing this concept of harmony, what people in our community and in the broader community in the Twin Cities area have recently experienced in Minnesota, and how a period of difficulty created more harmony amongst us. Thank you for that. This past winter, federal immigration enforcement in its Operation Metro Surge became very real. It was no longer something happening far away or in the abstract. It was happening in our neighborhoods, our workplaces, our schools, our places of worship, and healthcare settings. And the effects were very human, very immediate, and deeply felt. We saw fear spread beyond any one household or immigration status. Families pulled back, workers, many of whom were actually legally here, didn't get to go to work, couldn't pay their rent, and many of their kids missed school. People delayed medical care. Law-abiding residents, citizens and non-citizens alike, began to feel that staying invisible was safer than participating in civic life. In the meantime, and in reaction to this crisis, we are told by Veep that over 600 volunteers from Edina were delivering food on a daily basis to families fearful of leaving home. We saw and experienced people helping people in Edina, and it's made us better for it. There were real economic consequences as well. I see Rebecca sitting back there. Our restaurants, construction sites, hospitals, and care facilities depend heavily on immigrant labor. When immigration enforcement becomes sudden and physical as it did, entire workforces disappeared overnight. Not always because of legal status, but because of fear. When fear surfaces, we know that trust erodes and it does not easily return. Our businesses are just now starting to recover from this economic reckoning that we had in our community. And Rebecca, you've done a remarkable job of leading the 50th in France. And again, this year, just announced by, it was a Twin Cities Magazine? Yeah, that we are the shopping district of the year, 50th in France. Yeah. And you have done remarkable work leading that organization down there and leading that group of folks and making that such a prized part of our community and a prized part of the Twin Cities area. So thank you for all that wonderful work that you're doing. So I want to talk about Edina Police Department, and I told the guys before we started that the confidence that they engendered in all the many meetings that Rebecca and I had with merchants down at 50th in France and our restaurateurs, what they cherished most and counted on the most was having our presence of our PD down at 50th in France. That though they knew that ICE agents were looking for opportunity to discover whether somebody was there legally or not, in some cases it didn't matter, in our town, our PD was regularly patrolling, and it gave a great deal of comfort to the residents, not only the residents of our community, to go down and to go to restaurants, but also the people that were working there and those folks that owned those facilities. In our town, the Edina Police Department's focus has been on keeping our community safe by enforcing state and local laws. They do not enforce federal immigration laws. This approach has helped ensure that all residents, regardless of immigration status, feel comfortable seeking our help, reporting crimes, and interacting with city services. Most of our work has focused on making sure residents understand their constitutional rights, providing resources and advocating at the federal level for constitutional policing practices. People and businesses in Edina were comforted by the fact, as I mentioned, the presence of Edina PD, and for their professionalism, and for that we should all be deeply grateful. So thank you, Edina PD. We know that public safety works best when it is rooted in trust, and you helped build that trust, and that was really a critically important thing in this particular time in our lives. That's how we both kept and presently work to keep our community in harmony. We're going to show a photo now of Fire Station number 2, I believe. So we know that public safety and public health are the primary responsibility of every level of government, especially at the local level. Because we consider public safety and public health to be a top priority, we determined there was a need and then opened new Fire Station number 2 last fall. Nearly half of Edina's medical 911 calls come from the southeast quadrant of the city. Previously, that area was served by a station next to the Y, that held only one ambulance. And when a second was needed, it had to come from across town from over on the Tracy station. Today, we have 3 ambulance crews that are positioned where demand is the highest, improving response times and reliability for those in a health emergency. There's a slide that's going to be illustrating that in just a moment here. To illustrate that point, there have been 3,364 total medical 911 calls across Edina since October 30th, when Fire Station 2 opened. Of those, 1,715, or over 50%, were in the Fire Station number 2 response area. Apparatus from Fire Station number 2 have responded to 1,883 calls for service since the station opened last fall. This investment has helped us restore the balance in our emergency response system, keeping people safer and ensuring that we can meet the growing demand that exists in our community. The call volume for services has increased significantly over time. Just in the last 10 years, the call volume is up 67%. At the same time, staffing shortages previously made it difficult to consistently operate that 3rd ambulance service, leading to increased reliance on mutual aid from other communities. By adding 6 new firefighter paramedics, we have strengthened our system, reduced strain on staff, and improved service delivery to our fellow residents. Making sure, thanks for that. Making sure the right people are in the right place at the right time is how we support public safety and further build public trust. As many of you know, the new fire station number 2 is more than just a fire station. It also houses our public health services, provides space for partner organizations, and includes meeting rooms for public use. Even the vestibule is designed for 24-hour safety space. We recently had one of the first outings for the city council over there, and Days of Remembrance was well attended in that new community room. They filled the room with people that were interested in Days of Remembrance and recognizing the effects of the Holocaust, something that we've done since 2012. And it was really wonderful to have that new facility available to help with these kinds of meetings. So this facility, this new fire station, has been terrific at bringing services together in one place, making it easier for people to access support when they need it, and through partnership with Bloomington Public Health and organizations like VEEP, residents can access help with housing, food, utilities, and more. This is what harmony looks like in practice, aligning services to better serve our community. Our park system reflects another kind of balance, another type of harmony between activity and rest, recreation, and nature. While Fire Station number 2 was our first new municipal building to open in decades, our next new facility to open will be the new Edina Arts Center inside the Hennepin County Library at 70th and York. That facility is under construction at the present time, and Commissioner Edelson has played a key role in making sure that that was possible, and we're getting a piece of architecture over there that is just extraordinary. And we'll be on the second floor. Thank you, Commissioner Edelson. You know, over there, over the years that all of us have gone there, we see that big sheet of asphalt out there. Little did we know that there was a real high water table over there. So what the county has done is they pulled the library. It'll be up on the northwest corner in the high ground, and then there'll be underground parking on the high ground, but the rest of it will be naturalized with a lot of different walking areas and water features. It'll be just quite a dramatic change from what exists there right now. And then we'll have that art center on the second floor. So that's going to be a wonderful thing to have done. And I think, Heather, we're thinking, 2027 sometime, end of 27, to be able to open that up. And it will be a wonderful addition to our community. And we thank the county for making what I think is close to a $150 million investment in that library and that facility, where we're told we're going to get the friends and neighbors discount on the rent. So let's wait and see what happens on that. So now let's talk about a different kind of harmony in action. Well, this will give you a sense of that naturalized look that the new library will have. And then we'll be on that second floor with the Art Center. So you can see what a beautiful facility that is. You know, at the start of 2026, the city unveiled the concept design for Braemar Ice Arena's refreshed, renovated, and expanded facility. It's a $45.2 million project that'll transform the facility in a bunch of different ways. I think you all are aware of that outdoor rink, the backyard, they call it. That's going to become our 4th indoor rink, allowing for year-round ice activity and better scheduling flexibility. And the plans also include improved accessibility, new lobby spaces, safety upgrades, and enhanced ice systems for better quality ice sheets, as well as enhanced spectator comfort. I think it'll be much more effective on being able to get people safely into their seating, particularly in that west arena. And you know, there's some of our restaurateurs, including Gavin Kaysen, who's a James Beard Award winner, and a couple other fellows that are thinking about a new restaurant in that facility. So I'm thinking we're the center of the universe for ice hockey, but I'm thinking we're the center of the universe for food delivery for ice hockey arenas. That we'll have the only James Beard Award winner running a hockey arena fast food place, or whatever it's going to be. So that'll be exciting too to think about in the context of what goes on around the country. So we've got that bird's eye view here, and you can kind of see what's transforming there. And it's the construction started earlier than we thought. The city council approved the spending package in February, and remember, this was the spending that's going on here. That $45 million was made possible by all of you and others in our community that voted to impose a half-cent sales tax on themselves to be able to accomplish this. Now, it's actually getting a discount. And I would say preliminarily that you have to first get by the legislature. Heather was at the legislature at the time. The legislature first has to let you go to your voters to decide if they're going to allow you to have a vote on whether or not you want to impose a sales tax. So the threshold requirement is that it has a regional sort of function. Of course, there could be nothing more regional in nature or national or international in nature than Braemar Ice Arena. So that was an easy test for us to pass. Not so easy to get the legislation passed itself, but when we went to the voters, they were very, very supportive of this idea that we needed to improve Braemar Ice Arena and kind of make it the #1 facility in the state again. So everything's underway there. It's going to be a great outcome. The starting work on these rink floors began after the winter season, and the work is being done in a fashion where we can maintain 2 ice sheets at the same time where we're remodeling the other ones. So this is all going to be fun to watch over the next year or so. And then nearby in Braemar Park, I don't know if any of you have been over to the Golf Dome lately or driven by there, but there's some trees that are down next to the parking lot, and the park director came up with a great idea with his folks. Here, you can see what the parking's like in the wintertime. This is along the main road that should be unobstructed, but the Golf Dome is getting so much use that we got people parking on both sides of the road, so we're going to create some additional parking to the north of the existing parking lot. They'll have to take some dirt out of there and get it down to grade. But what's going to be really beneficial about it is that we're going to get year-round use out of that space. So it will add a significant number of parking spaces for wintertime for Braemar Golf Facility. But in the summertime, it's going to be converted into pickleball courts. They've got some new material now that they can use to lay down temporary pickleball courts, and it'll be pickleball courts in the summertime. And that's the renting of those pickleball courts and the parking lot. So that's a good dual use of that facility. And then, of course, I think a lot of you have been paying attention to what's going on over at Fred Richards Park, where the city's finalizing design of the park. That'll be, our former colleague Josh Brigg used to call it Centennial Lakes West. And he's not far off. I think it's sort of a naturalized Centennial Lakes West. It's going to have about 2/3 passive uses for walking and biking, and then about 1/3 of the space is available for active uses. Again, we got a real high water table issue over there, so we've only got some limited spaces where we can have a significant amount of activity going on. So this former executive golf course, just south of Lake Edina and tucked behind the Fred and the Finch on the north side of West 77th, is going to be transformed. This is a 43-acre park, almost twice the size of Centennial Lakes. And when completed, Fred Richards will offer a multitude of experiences from heavy-use play spaces to serene nature areas. And as I mentioned, about 2/3 of the usage will be passive and about 1/3 active. And it will be heavily naturalized, as you can see from that photo. All these investments are about creating places where people can gather, recharge, and connect. Another way to continue to build harmony across our community. Now let's talk about the third part of it. Scott mentioned earlier this is about the school district and the city working together, but really what makes Edina hum is the school district, the city, and the business community working together. And so I want to talk about a few things that are happening in the business community that also lead to this harmony that we've created in our community that we're trying to build upon. So in the business community, you know, there's been a lot of difficulty since COVID on particularly commercial buildings, and a lot of vacancies around the Twin Cities. But in Edina, things have been going really well, and even in this challenging economic climate, Edina continues to attract a great number of folks that are interested in being here from a commercial standpoint and attracting then commercial investment. So in 2025, there were only 2 commercial buildings built in the Twin Cities area. Both of them are being built in Edina. And I'm talking about corporate headquarters buildings. One of them, of course, is the Craftsman that's going up across from Lenz and Byerly's on 7250 site. There it is. And that's going to be a beautiful new building and headquarters home for Adolphson and Peterson Construction Company, and then there'll be room in there for other tenants as well. And then to the north of there is where that new, we have a new multi-family apartment building going up. those two buildings will occupy that entire block. And then we have another building going up just over by the hilltop. Many of you have noticed that as well, and that's Opus Company's new corporate headquarters, located right there next to Hilltop, right in a wonderfully convenient location. It'll be great for people to see driving up and down Highway 100. And that's the second facility that's being built. And they may be able to accommodate some additional tenancies and also a potential restaurant. So we're excited about that as well. And in that whole area, it's a good thing we probably didn't get that public work site redeveloped, because everybody's using that for a staging area now. Whether they're working across the street at the Arcadia, the Opus building, whether they're working on the roadway up there. And incidentally, that we'll have that road open, I think, the end of June. Yay. Finally, yeah. And don't blame us. Oh, Michelle's here. I hate to do this to her. From Excel. Something went on with Excel and CP Rail. I don't know what it was, but anyway.
Blame the
What?
Blame the railroad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Michelle, I'll cover it for you. I'll blame the railroad. It's always easy to blame the railroad because we get a lot of calls on the railroad, too. What's all that noise, honking at night going on? The railroad going up and down the track it owns, honking their horns at every crossing. Well, we're working on that, too, folks. By law, they have to be doing what they're doing as they cross an unprotected, unguarded intersection. They have to sound their horns a certain amount of time in advance. And of course, now that trackage, that old Dan Patch line is getting more usage from the owners, and so they're going through there 3-4 times a night and sounding their horns, and the neighbors over there are upset. But we're doing a study that will tell us whether we can create, with maybe some federal funding, some opportunities to create controlled intersections where the train crosses a street. And if we can do that, then we can create quiet zones, and then they don't have to sound their horns. So that's our goal there, and we're working on that. So if there are neighbors here from that particular part of town, know that's what we're working on with respect to that. We talked about the Craftsman. We talked about Arcadia, and I think we should talk a little bit about housing as well. Enclave. Here we've got Enclave. So all of you know that the Macy's site has been under discussion and has an approved plan. That's an 8-acre site, one of the premier commercial sites in our community. And we approved a plan for that 8-acre site where we basically divided the property into four sections. So that was equal sections with internal streets. It's about a $300 million project. And of course, accompanying that was a discussion about, because the Craftsman was developing across the street in that apartment building, and the Enclave project was redeveloping, not starting yet. There was an opportunity to look at whether or not it made any sense to figure out how to get people safely across France Avenue, other than at grade, where we've been having difficulty with that. So we looked at the idea. I think Bill Neuendorf had an interesting idea, of our economic development director, looking at whether it made any sense to go underground. So we've done some preliminary work on that, a lot of emotion and feelings around the cost of it, and the city council is going to talk about it again tomorrow night and see where we want to go with that idea. Or alternatively, Commissioner Ellison and I had a conversation here a couple days ago about the possibility that we could maybe do something at grade. We're supposed to bring the plan, and then they'll look at it from a county standpoint, and we'll see if we can get anywhere with an alternative idea of getting people safely across that grade every block from 66th to 77th, and figure out some way maybe to shrink up France Avenue a little bit. The notion would be, would it make sense to shrink up those two inside lanes next to the median, make the median bigger, landscape it significantly, really create a beautiful street, slow people down. If it took them a couple more minutes to go from Crosstown to 494, is that really a big deal if they're going slower and it's safer? So we've got to come up with some ideas there. We'll have that conversation tomorrow night, and I think that would probably be less expensive than going underground with a tunnel that has some significant cost attached to it. So, but Enclave is, the apartments are a go. They're having some difficulty with some of the buildings along France Avenue, and there's some alternatives that may be coming our way to look at in terms of alternative development along France Avenue. But that's going to be a great project for community as well, and the apartments will be back along the promenade, so those folks living there will be able to take advantage of that as well. So people ask a lot of questions about apartment buildings, and we've had quite a few come up in our community. They say there's still a need for 100,000 housing units in Minnesota. And while 3/4 of Edina consists of single-family homes, Edina has had, as you know, many multifamily units that were constructed, both rental and ownership condos. And this has been a really healthy rental market for us, with the vacancy rates running between 5 and 7%. That's what a healthy market looks like. Our rates are running about 6%. I know when I was out campaigning last fall, when I was in apartment buildings, they were usually in that 4% to 6% vacancy rate, which was really quite astounding, because the ones that are full are the 2 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms plus a den, and the penthouses from $3,500 a month to $14,000 a month. They're all full. There's no availability there. And then our affordable housing units are all full as well, with no vacancy. I think less than a 1% vacancy on those affordable housing units. And then we have the setting under construction at 7200 France. That's the sister project I mentioned to the Craftsman. And that'll feature a 6-story apartment building with 150 rental units, and 10% of these units will be affordable on a permanent basis, and they'll just be blended into the apartment building as a whole. And then we also had somebody come forward with that Marriott residence down by Ciao, and they're converting that now into workforce housing, from that being a hotel into workforce housing, and that will hold about 136 units for workforce housing, and there'll be affordable rents down there. And then, of course, over by the hilltop again, this is a piece of property we've looked at for a long time, that 3.3 acre site where the old public works site is. And we've approved, we went through the process of looking at about a dozen developers. We got it down to 5 that we interviewed, I think it was 5. And then we decided that we would work with Hempel Monarch Group on ownership housing on that 3.3 acre site. So it'll be a combination of townhouses and condominiums, along with a new restaurant down at Arcadia in Eden. That'll be the linchpin building down there. And then the townhouses first, and you can see the site plan there. It leaves a lot of room for green space, and I think it'll be a nice environment. We don't want anything too dense down there, because there's already a lot of density going on down in that area. So we're all excited to see the development of this new commercial space. So as I conclude, I want to thank all of you for being here at this annual community update, and I offer this as a reminder. The city is more than its streets and its buildings. It's a living compact between residents and between neighbors, a quiet, enduring agreement that says we will look out for one another, even when it's difficult, even when we do not always see eye to eye, and that the well-being of one of us or one family is bound up in the well-being of us all. That is not sentiment. It is a very condition of our shared life, and that is what is going on in Edina. That is what I see in Edina. It is a place we all love to call home, and because of the harmony of Edina, this is one of the reasons we love to call it home. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hovland. One of the city's closest partners is Edina Public Schools, and I'm pleased today to be able to welcome our next speaker, Edina Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Daniel Bittman. Yeah, there's a little bit more I got to read through here yet. Okay. But you can stay right here. Yeah, get to. Excuse me. Dr. Bittman brings more than 30 years of experience as a nationally recognized educational leader to Edina Public Schools. He joined the district as interim superintendent in April 2025 and was named superintendent in February 2026. With long-standing ties to Edina, he has collaborated with district leaders for more than 2 decades and continues a legacy of strong leadership and community partnership. Previously, Dr. Bittman served as a superintendent of the Elk River Area School District and the Sauk Rapids Rice Public Schools, where he was named Minnesota Superintendent of the Year in 2016. His earlier roles include Assistant Commissioner at the Minnesota Department of Education, in leadership positions in Centennial Schools in Minnesota and Clark County School District in Nevada. Please help me welcome Dr. Daniel Bittman.
Thank you so much. And just a shout out to my team members who are here. Daphne Edwards, if you could raise your hand. Nate Swenson, Assistant Superintendent. Sonia Saylor. And two of our amazing communications folks, Danielle and Sky, if you can raise your hands as well. So good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here. I failed at retirement. I tell folks it was the best 4.5 months of my life. And I found myself back in Edina, and I just love it to death. Many of you knew Ken Dragseth. Ken hired me as a superintendent, my first superintendency 17 years ago. And Rick Dressen helped me write my first entry plan as a superintendent 17 years ago. So it's wonderful to be here. My wife and I moved to Edina, and we just couldn't be happier to be in this community, serving and working with each of you. We've had an amazing opportunity since last April to be part of this journey when Stacy went to St. Paul. And I'm so glad that my kids, my family has had an opportunity to serve in this role. I couldn't thank you enough for the work that you have done to welcome us, not only within the school district, but within the community, at our parks, at our events, at the grocery store, and everything else. So thank you so much for doing that. We couldn't be happier. If we could flip to my screens, they're ready to go. This is what it's really about, defining excellence. I love showing this picture because this is what we have created with our community. As I had the opportunity to come in April, I thought this is going to be an interesting transition as an interim superintendent. I'm coming toward the end of the school year. So we went right into a lot of culminating events. But what you may or may not know is that since April, we've been navigating a number of challenging things. Since April, we had 14 deaths within our school system. Major deaths. We had the Annunciation shooting in the fall, and then we had Metro Surge. 3 amazing and chaotic times that our community and our school district, our leaders, our police, our fire, and everyone else came together to love our kids and to make sure that our students and families and staff had absolutely everything they needed to be successful. And the fact that many of you did not know that is a testament to the great work happening in our community and in our schools. So let's give everybody a round of applause for that. So it is about harmony and civility. And I can't, again, thank you enough, not only from a personal standpoint with my own children, my wife, my family, etc., but within the school district. They need us. This picture kind of says it. It was the day that our early childhood and preschool kids were making vests out of brown paper bags. And when you are going through chaos and crisis in our communities and our world, this really brings us back to center. And I often tell folks, like many of you, as superintendent, I deal with the really amazing, like right here, and the really most difficult, because everything else happens by other people in between. And I'm grateful for that work that happens. So Operation Metro Surge, I won't spend a lot of time on that because the city mentioned that so well. My phone's going off, sorry. But I was inundated within seconds of hundreds of families wanting to come and support. Can I show up and put a perimeter outside your school? Can I bring groceries to families? Can I make sure that I transport students to school? Can I raise money for families who are afraid to go to school? Down the list, over and over. It was so humbling for our teams to be able to do that with and for our community. We partnered well with the county. We partnered well with our city planners and our folks throughout the city, with law enforcement, with everyone throughout our community in terms of our business leaders. And we made amazing things happen where kids felt safe in our schools. I can't thank enough the Ed Foundation, Give and Go, and others who so selfishly came together, again, to make sure that people had what they need on a day-to-day basis, most of which people don't ever realize or ever see. This picture is one I also love to include because Edina is built on tradition and history. We have amazing things happening throughout our school district and community. Maybe some of you see yourself in here, some relatives. I see some looks. We are on the shoulders of giants. And we so appreciate the excellence that has come forth for the last many, many decades. And we're working feverishly and tirelessly to not only make sure that we make you proud, but that we continue that focus on excellence throughout our schools and community. This speaks to our vision. We really are about making sure that every child, every single child, and every learner, every staff member, everyone part of our organization is able to discover their possibilities and thrive. I have a superintendent student advisory made up of students from both middle schools and the high school, and we meet throughout the year. We recently brought them to the school board meeting where we had a panel and were able to ask them questions. Overwhelmingly, the two things that came forward from every single child is the love of the people in Edina who go above and beyond to make connections and to make people feel welcome. The second thing is the number of opportunities that we provide for our children within the school district. Not just academics, not just fine arts, extracurriculars, athletics, volunteer opportunities, etc. Every single student made that a point. Those were the top two things. In fact, one of the students at the board meeting said, it is impossible for a student not to feel loved and belonged in Edina because we literally have something for everyone. And that would not be possible without the business partnerships as well as the partnerships with our city and county. This talks a little bit about our vision and mission as well. We really are about excellence and making sure that we are preparing every single learner to be their very best. These are our strategic planning areas. Most of you know that, and we're part of our 10-year strategic plan. And we take this seriously. This is our roadmap. Every single thing we do within these priorities are measured, we hold ourselves accountable, and we hold ourselves to a high standard. And we wouldn't be able to do that without your continued partnership, your volunteerism, and your financial support. When I had the opportunity to come to Edina, I asked the school board and school district for a list of 50 people throughout our community that I could get to know to learn more about Edina. That list quickly turned into over 225. We're overachievers in Edina. And so I spent 30 minutes, many of you are in this room, spent 30 minutes with each person just listening. I asked 3 things. Tell me the 3 things you're most proud of about Edina and Edina Public Schools. Tell us 2 things that are on your heart and mind or that I need on my radar that haven't gone so well or need to be thinking about. And 1 thing that I as superintendent or our school district can do to support you individually and as a community member. We then brought that feedback back to our teams, our leadership teams, our school board, our community, and we generated themes that came out from that. And these were the 5 areas of emphasis or focus areas that came out of that. Safety and security, reimagining the high school experience, early learning and family center, elementary acceleration or talent development, so the old gifted, we call that talent development, and our Spanish dual language programs. Those were the 5 things that were on people's heart and mind the most. And we've spent the last year working with thousands of people in each of those areas to not only assess our system, but to look at the most elite and successful programs, school districts, and corporations that have these things in common in terms of best practice to see where we are and where we need to go in the future. We started with a plan last August that was approved by the board. During the mid-year, we were able to share some of our insights, and in May, we will be bringing those findings to the school board to say, here is what we need to be thinking about to remain elite at everything we do. The high school experience, we are the top high school in the state of Minnesota. We are amongst the best in the United States, and we recognize that we can't just rest on our laurels. We want to make sure that we continue to be the very best, not only here in Minnesota, but across the country. And we are grateful for those of you who have partnered with us. From a safety and security standpoint, we looked at infrastructure, emergency preparedness, and student and staff wellness. No surprise that safety continues to be part of what we're focused on. Our community was loud and clear. It's more than just our buildings. It's about students feeling like they belonged. It's about wellness. It's about infrastructure. And it's making sure that we're not like a prison and that we're welcoming, but that we make sure we have the very best systems and structures in place. Special thanks to our law enforcement partners who are involved in this task force throughout the year and continuing to play guidance. What we learned is we have an amazing system in Edina Public Schools. We're multi-layered. We have a lot of different things in place to protect kids, and we're amongst the best when it comes to safety and security. But what we also learned is our equipment's 15 years old and won't last forever. What we learned is that we're really good at crisis, but we're not very good at recovering. Metro surge happens, and we move on to the next thing. But how about those kids and families and staff who were impacted? How do we continue to support them, right? So making sure that we have systems and structures not only in place to respond at the immediate moment, but what does that look like to make sure that we're surrounding ourselves, surrounding our kids and learners with everything we have so that we can continue to support them. From a high school opportunity, we know, again, that we have amazing things happening in our high school. No surprise. What we learned is we are elite. We do amazing things. We have amazing programs. But what we also heard is that not all students have that same experience in our buildings. And that some of the experiences that our kids have is based on the families we have, the amount of money we have, the connections we have to business. But that some of our kids don't have that. And so that our task forces are really looking for us to make sure that every student that walks in our door has those same amazing opportunities, not based on where they live or who they're with, but based on the fact that they're part of Edina Public Schools. What we also heard loud and clear is we have so much expertise in our community, from a business community. Our kids need to be having internships and apprenticeships, and we need to start leaning into our alumni, to our local parents and families, our business leaders, to be able to share that wisdom and experience with each and every one of our kids, not only because of who their parents are, but because they're part of Edina Public Schools. And for that, those are free things to be able to do, that we need to build in our systems to do a better job to make sure all of our students have that. And we're grateful. Early Learning and Family Center, we have tremendous opportunities in our Early Learning and Family Center, but what we heard from hundreds, if not thousands of people, is that's put in an old high school and we've put every Band-Aid on it we possibly can. We're not meeting the needs of some of our families. We have Edina residents choosing private school in other places because of the opportunities that other places have. Some of that's building, but a lot of that is space and capacity. Families are saying, we need more childcare options. We need before, during, and after school. We need additional summer school programming. We need to make sure that our classrooms aren't 60 years old. We need proper learning spaces for some of our children. We want to have more nature-based, is what they said, so we can bring the outdoors to our kids. We want to have spaces that are built for young children and families, not where the windows are way up at the very top, if there's windows at all, but where we can start thinking about bringing light and what we know is best practice for our students. So we will continue to look at that from our families. For elementary acceleration and Spanish dual language, what we know is we have a tremendous amount of talent development and gifted opportunities naturally at the secondary. We have AP classes, we have college in the schools, we have amazing CTE programs, etc. But at the elementary, what we found is that while we have amazing programs, it's somewhat teacher dependent and school dependent. And so we really were encouraged to think about how we provide that excellence in all classrooms, in all schools, throughout all of Edina. And we'll continue to do that. Our Spanish dual language program, We have been very blessed in Edina Public Schools to have a French immersion program as well as the Spanish dual language programs. Our students are excelling at absolutely every area. But we also know that that program, particularly for Spanish development, is in its infancy. We currently have third grade, so next year we'll have fourth, the following year fifth, and then we're going to be in the middle school. So we're about to make an announcement in the next month or so of where that middle school program will go. But our task forces are consistent. We value language. We value global opportunities. We know that this brings unique and amazing opportunities for our kids and families. We want to make sure that we're doing that thoughtfully, and we are committed to doing that within the school district. For our business leaders, we are one of three Minnesota school districts with a AAA rating. We take our fiscal responsibility and stewardship very, very seriously. For the last 3 years, we've been recognized for our fiscal stewardship, not only at the state level, but our national level. And that will continue, and we will continue to make that a priority. In addition to that, you can see a number of things where we relate high. 3 consecutive years, as I said, we've received the Certificate of Excellence, and there's only 30 school districts out of more than 500 in the state of Minnesota that receive this recognition. So the Edina experience, overall district rating, A+. A high percentage of folks getting with advanced degrees. The #1 traditional high school, the 8th in the country for athletic and extracurricular programs. We're the top 1% of Minnesota school districts. And over 96% of families think of us and recommend Edina Public Schools as the school of choice. If you are or know the other 4%, please tell them to come meet with me because I will make that a smaller number. We have amazing opportunities. We remain innovative and excellent in everything that we do. These are some of the opportunities that we have, and you are a big part of that with our business community, whether it's through apprenticeships or internships. But we have a number of career-oriented fields. We have paid work experience. We have career and technical education, Project Lead the Way, career fairs. You are showing up each and every day to explain to our students what is possible. That is what makes Edina Public Schools special. This particular young lady talked about her experience as a registered nurse, being able to work with Fairview and go through a number of different internships and apprenticeships that she had. This is one of thousands that we have going on each year. And again, our community, our families, our students are saying, let's make sure that's available for each and every child within Edina Public Schools. We have our partnerships with many of you. This one happens to be with the Chamber. Edina Shark Tank, Mark Jensen, a number of you are in the room who were part of that. Raise your hand if you're on the Chamber and were part of Shark Tank. There's a few of you, right? Let's give them a round of applause. Ingenuity and innovation, making sure our kids have an opportunity to dream. This is something, again, that we continue to value and partner. International travel opportunities, a large, significant number of our kids not only have the opportunity to travel with their parents at spring break, but more importantly, with our business partners, the Rotaries, the Chambers, with our Global Scholars Program, etc. They're going around the world to do meaningful work to help those in need, help those in poverty, and to expand what schooling and learning is all about. We want to make that available for everyone. This last week, we were able to celebrate our students for their varsity letters, where students voluntarily get to decide if they want to earn that program. More than 33,000 service hours were completed by our students this year just to add an academic letter for volunteering and service. If you haven't had the opportunity to see our kids and see the progress, the amazing things they're doing, please make a point of doing that. I may be a little biased, but I love it. In addition to that, our fine arts program is amongst the best in the country. I hope that you've been able to see some of our theater productions, maybe go to the recent pop concert, maybe next week or later this week, being able to see Beetlejuice. So many opportunities to showcase our talent. The programs, the bands, the opportunities that every student has in the fine arts, again, is beyond what other school districts throughout the entire country have, and would encourage you to get involved with that as you're able. State championships are real. Someone told me that. You're never going to have a bad school year when you win a state championship in football. I will say that both Rick and Ken said no superintendent has ever gotten another 3-year contract without winning a hockey championship. So I got some work to do on that. We have 250 state championships here in Edina. The next highest school district is more than 100 below that. In fact, I believe the next district is at 97. Edina has a precedent of excellence in every single program that we have. In terms of collaborative learning, it may not be an accident that we have 2 people with Wyzetta sweatshirts on this slide. Because at our schools, at Southview, for example, people from other school districts pay to come to Southview to see the work that we're doing around professional development and advisory. Now, Daphne, we may need next year to have someone from Minnetonka and Wyzetta together. But these opportunities to share and build capacity for all kids across the state, again, sets a tone where Edina continues to lead this work and make a difference. We are one of 6 to 8 consortium districts in the United States that are considered to be the most elite school districts in the country. We've been meeting with them twice a year for more than 2 decades, where we're able to share best practice, highlight the things we have that are going on in our school districts, and continue to grow and learn together. Edina will be hosting the consortium in October of this fall, and so we're excited to be able to showcase the work that we're doing. You also see a number of things from our programs, not only throughout just the school district, but for example, Tennessee, a group from Tennessee of over 100 folks from Franklin came this last year and worked with the city and the school district to see the partnerships and the amazing things that we have going on in our district. These are folks that are coming from throughout the country because they know that we have something special happening. We wouldn't be able to do that without your love, without your support, and your intentionality on making great things happen. And we continue to think about and prioritize fostering civility and harmony. We have a number of different programs, as the city talked and others have talked, to come together, not only as a school district, but as a community. We have Character Strong and different social emotional programs that happen throughout our district to make sure that kids are self-aware, that they're in touch, that their feelings are regulated, that they can show up in a workplace and be productive citizens. They know that they can leave Edina, have an immediate positive impact on our community, our state, and our country. We have our Special Olympics Unified program that has hundreds of students involved in these programs to make sure every student, regardless of disability, regardless of strength, regardless of need, belong in Edina Public Schools and have amazing opportunities, whether it be through the fine arts, through sports, with day-to-day living, with classes, etc. This is amongst the greatest programs across the United States, and Edina continues to lead that way. Some of you may have been involved in our recent polar plunge that we've been doing over the last few years. We raised $119,000 by our kids jumping in cold water. That went to our unified programs throughout the state and Special Olympics. We couldn't be more proud of those partnerships. And for those of you who are thinking, I really want in on that, there's a chance next year. Our Ed Fund and our Give and Go programs gives tens of thousands, millions of dollars over time to support what the school district is unable to do. They are partners every single day. They're the unsung heroes behind the scenes who make sure that kids can participate in activities when they can't afford it. They're the organizations that help provide targeted services when their student didn't come to school because of Metro Surge. They're the folks that show up when a family is evicted and doesn't have rent to connect folks with resources throughout our community and to make sure that every student knows that Edina Public Schools and our Edina community is a place for them and their families, so they don't have to worry about those things that come forward, and so they can be a student. And of course, coming up, May 8th, want to make sure that everybody knows about Be a Hornet Day. Make sure that you are able to share your Edina pride and that you have an opportunity to take those pictures and show what it's like, not only to be part of Edina Public Schools, but to be part of our Edina community. So again, for appreciation on my behalf, on the board's behalf, our school district, we could not do this work without you, and I couldn't be more grateful to serve alongside you. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Bittman. I just got texted by Jennifer. Apparently I have to do some filling in for time, so she wanted me to sing another song. But I'm not like St. Paul. I only do paid gigs, so not today, sorry. I don't need any credit, but I did forego my standing Monday Braemar tee time, which is one of the most spectacular golf courses in the state, I'm here to tell you. And I enjoy it every Monday. I grab my notes here. Good afternoon, I'm Mark Jessen, and I have the honor of serving as the board chair of the Edina Chamber of Commerce, and I am also a proud member of the Rotary Club of Edina. On behalf of both organizations, thank you to Mayor Hovland and Superintendent Bittman for sharing your insights today. The state of the community remains a premier opportunity for Edina businesses to hear directly from the city and school district leadership and to better understand the direction we're heading together. I do want to take a moment and a shout out to the staff of the Edina Chamber. We have Caitlin, we have Jordan, we have Lisa, and we have an excellent Chamber of Commerce. And I'd also like to extend a special thank you to our MC, City Manager Scott Neal. This marks Scott's 15th State of the Community in Edina, and his final one in this role. Earlier this year, Scott announced his plans to retire in January 2027. Well, see, I thought the mayor was kidding. This is happening? I don't remember getting asked about this. Oh, okay. All right. While we still have time to benefit from his leadership, it's fitting to recognize his lasting impact today. Scott, thank you for your years of service and your strong partnership with the business community of Edina. I've enjoyed working with you on the Chamber Board all these years, and we all wish you the best in retirement, and just keep me posted on how that's going. Maybe like Dr. Bittman, 4.5 months, you'll come back. So I would like to lead in a round of applause for Scott Neal. And thank you all for being here today and your continued investment in the city of Edina. Mayor Hovland and Superintendent Bittman will remain a few minutes afterwards to answer any questions. We appreciate your time today and have a safe and productive rest of your day. Thank you.